Hi, I'm Emily from Homemade Emily Jane. Today let's talk about English paper piecing. English paper piecing, or EPP for short, is a method of hand sewing that involves using pieces of paper to shape your fabric before you sew it together. In this video, I'll teach you all of the supplies that you need for EPP, as well as the process involved and two of my favorite types of stitches to use when sewing together EPP projects. If you want a list of all the supplies you'll need, be sure to check out the description below. Before we get started, we'll cover the supplies that we need for English paper piecing. First off, you need paper. Here I'm using cardstock that's been cut out using dies from my AccuQuilt machine. I also have pre-cut out pieces of fabric that are slightly bigger than the cardstock, as you can see, so that we will have at least a 1/4 inch around every side. You'll also want a glue stick, thread and a needle, and a pair of scissors. One of the most recent AccuQuilt products is an EPP style cube. In this cube, it includes dies for cutting out the papers, and as you can see, they're slightly smaller and have a little circle in the center. When it cuts out, it looks like this. And then it also has dies that cut out the fabric needed as well. As you can see here, this AccuQuilt cube is specifically designed for English paper piecing for 1-inch finished sides. It has the blocks that I showed you using the hexagons, trapezoids, triangles, and diamond shapes, which I'll show more later on, and how they can come together to make really unique blocks. You can decide how you want to arrange them in different ways. Here are just 2 examples. This one on the right uses 12 diamond shapes to make a star in the center. And this one uses a hexagon, triangles, and diamonds to make a similar shape, but a little bit different color placement. Once you decide what shapes you're going to use, we'll start by basting the fabric onto the paper. So grabbing a glue stick, place your paper on top of your fabric with around a 1/4 inch on all sides. You'll use a glue stick to then put a very thin line, about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the paper, and fold your fabric over and stick it to the glue. Repeat that on all sides of your shape. Once you're done, your hexagon or other shape will look similar to this. Once your fabric is basted to your paper, it's time to sew them together. For this step, I use a very thin sewing needle and very thin thread. This is 80 weight Deco Bob by Wonderful. Grab your scissors and snip off a piece of thread and thread your needle. This can be a little tricky, so using a needle threader might help. Now that your needle is threaded, don't worry about tying a knot because we'll get to that later. Now, grab your 2 pieces and place them right sides together at the seam that you're wanting to join. I'm going to teach the whip stitch first. So here we'll place our needle through the back side of both pieces and pull it through so that there's still about 1 inch of tail at the end. Then loop it again, and we're going to tie our knot directly into the seam here. So loop the needle back through the thread so that it ties a knot, and you can pull it tight and it's not going anywhere. So now we'll do a whip stitch across from here all the way to the edge of the seam that we're trying to connect. So we'll place the thread, the needle straight through, just grabbing a couple pieces of the fabric thread as we go through. Once you get to the end of your seam, you'll want to go ahead and tie another knot like we did before, looping your thread back through the loop that you just sewed, like so. Now you can take a peek and look at how your stitches look. Another option is to use a stitch called the flat back stitch. For this one, we'll be joining it together like shown. For the flat back stitch, it's incredibly helpful if you use a little piece of tape. Grab your tape and on the front of your design, tape your pieces together how you would want them to sit. Just like that. This is particularly helpful if you're sewing curves because it doesn't really want to come together when you try a whip stitch. So for this one, the front of it will have tape on it and the back will show you where to stitch. So we're going to start right up here and tie our knot. This is called a flat back stitch because the back of your piece stays flat. So I pull it through with about an inch tail and then loop it through the same holes and create a little knot in my thread and pull it tight so our knot is secure. And now from here I'll come down about 1/8 of an inch and go across, picking up a little bit of fabric on both pieces and pull it through. And then continue doing that same motion for the entirety of your seam. Once you get to the end, go ahead and tie another knot to secure your thread. Now we can take a look at our stitches. Go ahead and flip the piece over and gently remove the tape, and you can see how they look from the other side. I like the flat back stitch because they're even more invisible stitches than the whip stitch. As you can see, these two seams were sewn with the flat back stitch, and this was sewn with the whip stitch. Once your piece is complete, it's time to remove the paper. You'll want to do so carefully, and sometimes it helps if you press it with a hot iron quickly before removing the paper. So for this, I'll just very gently pull off the glue, loosen it up where I can, and this little circle in the middle of the paper can actually help you remove it as well. So then I just pull it out very carefully, and you'll see it's kind of messy looking. That's when it really helps to come back in and grab your iron and press it nice and flat so that the points are crisp. I also like to use a little bit of best press here as well. Once the papers are removed, it might look something like this with your seams pressed nice and crisp. And you can even choose to rotate your seams in the middle to help make it a little bit flatter. Once you finish sewing together your English paper pieces, you can determine what you want to make with them. You can make a quilt, a wall hanging, or even a coaster. I suggest trying out a coaster if you want something small and easy as your first project. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new about English paper piecing. Drop a comment below to tell me what you think. For more tips, tricks, and inspiration for quilting and sewing, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out homemadeemilyjane.com.